Good morning. My doctoral dissertation looks at how national identities are promoted online versus offline through social media, given the prevalence of social media in our everyday lives, especially with the rise of the digital revolution 2.0 of the past decade. Given the novelty of the topic and of the methods used, I do not have an initial hypothesis as a preliminary answer to my question. However, I do hold initial assumptions that national identities are constructed, are abstract constructs by elites for sociopolitical purposes. My theoretical framework is threefold, which is why my topic finds itself at the intersection of these theories, in my opinion. First off is comparative nationalist theory through banal nationalism, which states that the national identities are discrete yet entrenched parts of our lives through things such as symbols and other elements. Second, I am looking at political marketing theories through nation branding, which, as the name implies, posits that nations, cities, states, regions, and what have you, need to brand themselves for cultural and economic reasons. Third, and finally, I am looking also at paradiplomacy as the new theory, let's say, that focuses on sub-state entities as international actors on the international scene, as new actors on the international scene. A research design for my methodology, I am employing discursive contextual analysis by looking at the official governmental channels of Scotland and Quebec between 2010 and 2015, specifically by looking at their online messaging. But also I am employing interviews and surveys to discuss with policymakers and communicators about their strategies when using social media. My preliminary findings look at, so far, first, it is inevitable and, of course, understandable that social media has increased the audience that online messaging reaches out to. However, despite this, policymakers have, let's say, been reluctant at fully using the social tools, the tools of these specific social media channels, and have mostly promoted offline campaigns and events on these channels. Furthermore, there is hardly any evidence that there are any campaigns, any strategies, pardon me, full-fledged strategies for which these communications, for which these channels are using. And the implication of my research is that national identities need to be adapted to digital channels if they will ever have their legitimacy increased, their reach widened, and their persuasion increased too. Thank you. Any questions? Yes.
Do you think it's necessary for these national entities to continue, or I guess continuing is not bad, like, you know, I'm French, I'm proud to be French, that's not a bad thing, but to separate them, then that's another story. So do these movements need to continue, I guess, in their general terms?
I'll try to briefly answer that question through the fact that it is not necessarily my opinion whether they should or need to continue. However, we do see that they do continue. So despite globalization pushes, they do continue nowadays. I mostly looked at Scotland and Quebec because they both have their own governmental channels and governmental orders, government orders, through which these identities can be pushed. So for better or worse, I think they will continue no matter what our personal beliefs are.